But yeah, Junji Ito, that anime. Did you guys watch it?
I haven't. I've watched some of it.
I've watched a few episodes, yes.
Which ones did you watch?
I think the first couple of ones.
I watched all of them.
Why?
Holy shit.
When I was getting ready for the cyclothon, I was like, what's something that I can kind of like stop watching at any point and not feel like I need to like because like some shows, it's like, I hate it if I have to stop it halfway.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I just want to
keep watching it.
I just want to keep watching, or I want to, if I stop where I am right now, I'm going to have to backtrack like 5 minutes to remember where I was.
Yeah.
Whereas normally the episodes end and they normally kind of
Episodic, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know. So I was just watching it and I was like, holy shit, none of these are good.
Yeah, can we just appreciate this moment where the boys have watched something that I haven't watched? But I guess the reason
because you're fucking smart.
Yeah,
You have
you're
a
way
brain.
better off.
You're too busy watching 19 isekais.
So the reason I haven't watched it is because I believe this is another adaptation that's different from the Junji Ito collection that aired like 5 years
Which
ago.
was also shit.
Is this also called the Junji Ito collection?
I believe
No, it's called the Tales of the Macabre. That's it.
Tales
and
of the Macabre.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. So
And like nobody fucking said anything about this.
yeah.
It wasn't in any of your videos.
It wasn't.
That's where I normally find out about what's going on in anime, is watching your videos. And so like I remember, I think we were at Sumo and Felix just goes, "Oh, have you been watching this new Junji Ito thing?" And I was like, "What the fuck? This is a new Junji?"
Yeah, I didn't even know. Felix was the one that told me.
Yeah, and no one's speaking about it. He was like, "Yeah, I just saw it on Netflix," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I watched it, and I was
wonder
like,
why no one's speaking about it.
Yeah.
"Oh my god, dude, it's so bad."
Yeah.
I think, and I don't say this lightly, I have never seen. It's been years since I've watched an anime this bad.
Yeah.
It is so dog shit.
Yeah, this just further proves this and the Junji Ito collection, which I sat through the entirety of because I hate myself. Like, just like solid evidence. You cannot adapt Junji Ito stuff. Like,
I think Junji Ito is unadaptable.
Yeah. Have you read any of his manga?
No.
Do yourself a favor. Like, that'll be a nice eye cleanse.
Watching this, I feel like how, like, seeing the stories portrayed in that light can never, I don't think I can ever see them as funny ever again. Not scary, because to me, 70% of them were funny. The other 30% were just boring.
Yeah.
Like, they open up with this, holy shit, this most god-awful episode of anime I've ever watched in my life. You watched the first episode, right?
Yes.
The one with like the Addams family, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Imagine the Addams family.
That's a weak story in the manga.
Yeah,
that's
but
a
like
shit
5
story.
times less fun. And for some reason, they put that as the first episode.
Yeah.
So like everyone who's watching this has to sit through this garbage episode.
Well, they did that with the Junji Ito collection as well. They opened up with like the kid who like curses everyone.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is a shit story. Like, why would you open up with this?
So then you open up this anime, right? And holy fuck, you get greeted with the intro song. It's like they were paying someone to miss, because the opening song is a fucking like screamo metal song.
Yeah.
How is that horror? How does that at all get me in the mood for horror? Like, all of Junji Ito's things, like, you know, climactic, kind of like slow build,
Like quiet, right? Yeah.
And it's like, you have like this guy, it's like, oh no, we're gonna visit my family grave, and then he goes, get ready for the anime, yeah, and then you just start this stupid Addams family shit, and it's not even remotely scary. It's just fucking weird. And they're like, I don't know.
As a song, it's fine, but just don't. It was the worst mix and match.
It makes no fucking sense. And then like, I was waiting for the iconic episodes, or like the iconic stories.
So one of the most iconic episodes, which you told me off camera, was the one with the balloon heads.
That shit was so funny.
And that is like normally looked at as one of his, that's a fan favorite story.
Yeah.
One of the short stories that people very much like and very much portrays the Junji Ito style. And I remember telling that to Connor. He was like, I found it fucking hilarious.
Bro, because in the show, they're like, well, honey, it looks like everybody outside is being turned into balloons. And he's like, well, I'm off to work. And he just dies right away. He just walks outside and fucking dies, even though he just made an observation that there are murderous balloons outside.
That's what you have to understand about Junji Ito, though. Like, no one, I think the person who takes Junji Ito stories the least serious is Junji Ito himself.
Which is why, like, I don't know if they just misunderstood what the shit was meant to be, because like, and in the same fucking balloon thing, the whole twist at the end is like the main girl who we're following, right? So everyone outside for some reason has been turned into murderous balloons, and when you die, you also turn into a murderous balloon.
Yeah.
There is no more context. That is it.
Nope.
Yeah.
And they like grab you by they have like nooses attached to the bottom of the balloons, and they just go and hang you.
Yeah.
I imagine it's terrifying in the manga. In the anime, it's fucking
It's
funny as fuck.
unsettling in the manga. Yeah.
It's like his stuff isn't terrifying.
Yeah.
It just is just unsettling.
Yeah.
And 99% of that is just to do with his art, because
Right.
his art is in fucking incredible, right? To the point where if you don't portray,
I've seen the art; it looks amazing.
yeah. His art just evokes. The best way I can describe it is that it just evokes emotions,
Yeah.
right? And unless you translate those emotions, like his like singular pen scratches that he does, the way he shades everything, there is no way to translate this still like painting that he's basically made into like an animated form, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his stories on paper are pretty ridiculous, because they are.
They're all like really absurd,
Yeah.
which is why it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Because then when it was funny, it was quite funny.
Yeah.
Like the ending of the balloon one, to spoil it if you care. There's like
It's like a 10-page short story.
yeah, this girl is like trapped in, because the geniuses of this world figured out if you just don't leave the house, you can't die.
Yeah.
Obviously you need to get food. Anyway, her like dead brother is like knocking on the window, being like, "Hey, I'm outside." She's like, "Oh shit, for real?" Opens the door. Obviously it's a fucking dead body balloon, but how is the body even fucking talking? It's so fucking dumb. There was one story that I kind of liked the premise a lot, and they just kind of fucked it up right at the end.
Which one?
The Toontown one. Which sounds like Toontown, but in my British accent, it's Toontown.
Toontown.
As they called it. It's where when people die in this town, they immediately, like, you can't touch the bodies. They just turn into gravestones on the spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And it was kind of a really cool concept, because we agreed to this idea, and the main character runs over a girl.
Yeah.
And then he's with his sister, and he's like, "Oh my God, you should do something." He's like, "No, put her in the fucking trunk. We'll bury her." I'm like, "Oh, okay, geez." And then they go into this town, and there's just fucking gravestones everywhere. And it's so fucked. It's so fucked. And then they go to this house to meet their friend, and it turns out they just run over her sister. And then they're like, "Oh, where's our sister?" He's like, "I don't know, right, sister? We don't know." And then eventually they throw her in the well, and it turns into the shitty CGI dragon that looks horrible, like ass, and it's so fucking stupid. Oh, it's so dumb.
Every time like a new Junji Ito anime adaptation comes out, there's like 1% of my brain that's like, this is the one. This is the one that's going to change it. And every single fucking time, it's just gotten worse and worse. I thought the Gyo movie was bad when I first watched that.
I was gonna say, I think Gyo is the only decent
I
Junji
think,
Ito adaptation.
after the Junji Ito collection and this new one, I think now it makes those were so bad. It makes Gyo look like a masterpiece.
I'm gonna defend Gyo, because it's not really known that it was.
Tell me what Gyo is.
So
It's one of the long stories by Junji.
It's one of the long stories got adapted into a movie.
Live
by
action?
No.
Thank God.
Animated
Thank God.
by Studio Ufotable.
What?
Studio Ufotable animated a Junji Ito adaptation, and it's the best animated adaptation he's ever gotten, and probably ever will get. But I would say that the manga itself had some like incredible body horror, and that was like one of the standouts about it. You put that in an anime form, and it's not scary.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm gonna say that it's not scary. But holy shit, it was so much fun.
It was so funny.
So the entire concept of Go is basically fish start invading land, right? And how do they invade land? There are sharks and fish, and they grow robot legs.
Yeah, they have mechanical legs underneath.
I think I've seen the stills of this.
Yeah. You've probably seen the still of like the shark with the mechanical legs entering the room.
Yeah.
That's a really famous shot.
Yeah. So they just invade the land, and I guess fish have decided to take the earth back because they are the ones who rule the earth now.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole movie about fish terrorizing people on land with mechanical legs. Some scientists try to do some wild experiments, and it goes wrong.
Yeah.
always goes wrong.
And it's just turn your brain off popcorn fun. I had a good fucking time watching that. It was like watching a bee.
I should have fucking watched that.
Yeah, was it scary? No. Was it hilarious? Yes.
There was one that was kind of scary, well, a little bit. What's the one with the where they peel the skin off.
Oh, that one. I can't remember what that
was kind of fucked.
called.
That was kind of well
sounds
done.
fucked, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they find out from some, of course, it's always an archaeological site where they move some body, and then turns out that she just has like 26 layers of skin.
Yeah, and then she like ages or something. Like
it's like one for every age.
Yeah.
And then her mom is like fucking obsessed with her being like young again, so she starts tearing off her daughter's face.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But it was really funny in the anime for like the first half, and then it actually got scary.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories of his as well. But again, a lot of his is just to do with his art and the way he sets the tone of his stories. Because like the balloon one, it's on paper, it's just ridiculous. And even like the skin one as well.
Oh my god, this keeps reminding me of the other fucking stories. One of the stories was like, hey, you probably watched this one too. It's where like, hey, my brother's making too much noise in the other room. So we're gonna hire a carpenter to make my room soundproof.
And
then the guy comes in, he's like, yeah, of course I can make it soundproof. So he builds 4 rooms inside of a room, and one of them is just a tiny ass cub. He's like, there you go, it's soundproof now. And then his brother just goes between the walls, just menacing him.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then he like lays like fucking oil and grease in it to trap him, and it's like, what the fuck is this? Like this? No, you know what takes the cake? Sorry, I'm running even another one.
Go off.
Okay. There's another story. All these sound fucking stupid when I explain them. Did you see the ice cream one?
No, I don't think so.
Have you seen this one? Yes. There's this story that opens up, and this is a guy who drives an ice cream truck. And he's like, hey, kids in the neighborhood, who wants some ice cream?
Yeah.
And then the dad's like, no, I can't let him get ice cream. I can't let him go in the ice cream truck. And then like all the other kids are in the ice cream truck. He's like, fine, go in the ice cream truck. Kid goes in the ice cream truck. This fucking ice cream truck goes around the corner with like the worst goddamn CGI you've ever seen in your life. It was terrible. Anyway, so it comes out, and then kid comes back, and he's like kind of miserable, and he's like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to the ice cream truck again. So he goes in the ice cream truck again, and then the kid comes back, and he comes out with his friend. His friend starts turning into fucking ice cream, and then he starts licking his friend, and then it turns out that like everyone in this truck is just old kids that turned into ice cream, and then you turn into ice cream when you lick the kid ice cream. And then it was just like, what is this shit? And then this dad's kid turns into an ice cream. He's like, no! And she's like, what is this shit?
I respect it. I respect it. Like, to the point where it's like, I feel this is just like Junji Ito's like personal challenge to like look at something in the real world. Like, he'll look at a chair and be like, I can make a horror story.
I like that he never tries to fucking explain his horror.
No,
like,
that's the good thing.
Yeah, the guy driving the ice cream truck. What's his deal? You'll never know.
Yeah, he knows it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
And what's the other one? Tomiya, is that the famous one?
Tomiya was good though. Tomiya's really fucking good.
I thought it wasn't good in the show.
Really?
I didn't get it in the show.
You didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
What do you mean?
I didn't really so she was just like cursed, like her face or some shit. It was fucking weird.
Yeah. Well,
I was like, what's the point of this shit?
Well, trying to decipher the intricacies of a Junji Ito story is hard.
That's the thing. It's not about what it's about, because most of it is unexplained, and it's made that way because as soon as you explain something, it just becomes less scary, right?
It's just open to interpretation.
I agree.
Yeah, as soon as you bring the answers. So one of his most famous works is Uzumaki, which that was his thing, where I guess he tried to make something horrific around this really abstract concept. Spirals. Yeah. So for some reason, spirals just start becoming cursed, right? To the point where
everything turns into spirals.
Everything turns into a spiral.
Cool.
Like, we don't go back to monkey, we go back to spiral, you know?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably seen that, like, one of the most famous shots from Uzumaki is this shot of, like, it's inside, like, a big, like, shallow barrel.
Yeah.
And like it just appears in the living room one day, and the daughter and the mum are like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this barrel? And they open it up, and it's the husband that's been like wrapped around inside.
Oh my god.
And like just like completely de-skinned and everything. And it's fucking horrific in the manga.
And I'm just like, yo, how scary can spirals be?
And then you see that pattern, you're like, oh, this shit is fucked.
This shit is fucked. And then, you know, you find out like people start avoiding spirals, and you're like, that shouldn't be too hard. And then you realize that your inner ear has like a spiral in it. And it's just like some of these like wild fucking ideas where
it's like Bird Box, but you can't see the spirals.
Yeah. There's a spiral everywhere.
I don't want to look at the spirals.
And then it just becomes like really good kind of like cosmic Lovecraftian horror because he never explains what's up with the spirals.
No.
You know, you never get an explanation.
Even in Gyo, they never explain it. It's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
are the fish coming to terrorize us? I don't fucking know. They just are.
I think just voice acting these kind of stuff just hurts it. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Yeah.
But just hearing people
Yeah.
voice it,
I
think
agree.
Yeah.
in a weird way kind of takes the heavy lifting that your brain might be doing for you to make it scarier.
Yeah.
And puts it on someone else, and you have to kind of like listen to them.
Again, I think
"Oh,
like
that's
the
dumb."
biggest advantage of Junji Ito stories is just like it uses its like quietness to its advantage. So the moment you start adding anything like voice acting or music or sound effects, it just feels tacky.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It could honestly be the most well animated thing. But
Yeah.
the moment you start to hear stuff like that, I feel it just takes away from the subtlety of it.
Is Junji Ito like super popular in Japan? Is people really well known?
He's,
'Cause
I'd say infamous.
Because I told some people, I'm like, oh, have you seen Junji Ito? They're like, who?
I feel like if you like manga, you'll
Maybe-
know him, but
okay,
like he's
okay.
not like a household name or anything like
Okay.
that.
I
I thought
feel
he
like if
was.
you just like horror as well, because I talk to some people who like are not into like the anime sphere at all. I talked to someone who was just like, what the fuck is Attack on Titan? And somehow he had read a Junji Ito work just because he was like super into horror.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Down like you can't get